I'm a personal business mentor and I'm a trainer. My mission, if you like, is to inspire, to educate and support business owners on their journey within their business. I want to help them help to reduce the failure rate. I want businesses to flourish. I want them to obtain the high incomes, the wealth and the work-life balance that they started their business for, because so many business owners don't. I've been running my own businesses for over 25 years, various different sectors, wherever I could see a pound note could be made. I've also had network marketing businesses for about 20 years now. And it was through network marketing that I realized that I had a bit of a knack, and I also enjoyed just helping people reach their potential within their business. And then a few years ago, a couple of friends approached me around about the same time, but completely independently. One who was really struggling in their business, they just needed to turn it around. And another who was doing well, but just wanted to step it up to the next level, just wanted to scale it up. And I helped them. And again, I just recognized that I enjoyed it and I seemed to be fairly good at it. Just using my experience in business to help them. I've done reasonably well in business. I've made mistakes, but you learn from your mistakes in business. I always say there's no mistake in business except not learning from them. And it was about this time that I started to recognize that the reason that many people were struggling in business was not because they weren't good at what they did. You know, the reason they weren't achieving that wealth and that work-life balance was not because they weren't good. They technically brilliant, but they were not necessarily good at monetizing their expertise, monetizing what they were good at. And that it's not their fault. It's because nobody's ever shown them. And they often get bogged down in the stuff of running a business, but nobody's ever shown them what it is that they don't know about business. And if you don't know what you don't know to ask for advice about it, because you don't know it exists to ask for advice about. So nobody's just shown them the simple formula for success in business. That's what I do now. I work with business owners to help them understand that formula for success, call it the entrepreneurial formula. And that's to help them turn their business around, help them scale it up to the next level, and just make sure they understand the pitfalls of business and understand how to avoid them and understand what it takes, what they have to do to build a high income business that works. Then I keep them on track through monthly mentoring. So that's where I come from.
I work with a lot of coaches and consultants to help them create more impact and in turn more income, whilst having more time to do the fun things that they really enjoy in life. Something I've noticed with a lot of coach consultants is we're really passionate people. We love helping our people. We love seeing the results. You know, we get a real buzz around, you know, the client saying, hey, got this result, you know, whether it's to do with their business, their personal, whatever. But of course, it's really easy when you're scaling your business to end up neglecting yourself. You know, you put everyone else and everything else, everyone and everything else first. And of course, you come last. You're at the bottom of the pile. And you can do that for a while. You know, we can all, I did that for, I think, 4 or 5 years. But it gets to the point where suddenly, when you're not looking after you, you know, when you're not turning up sort of physically, mentally, and emotionally with your A game every day, life is tough, you know, and you start missing out. And that really isn't fun for everybody, you know. So externally, everything looks great. You know, but on the inside, you know, it's a completely different story. And I've been there. You know, I built a successful business and sacrificed myself for it, and it nearly cost me my marriage. And you know, the turning point for me was when we had our first son. You know, when he was around about a year, I look back like I don't really remember much of his life. You know, he was just an inconvenience. He was another thing that required more of my time. And that's not what it's about. You know, I created my business to have more time and more money, you know, to provide that lifestyle for my family and to do what I want, when I want, with who I want. And I'm a petrol head. And you know, so that kind of, like, cars cost money as well. So, you know, that's why I completely transformed my business to what I do now with my clients. And so I look at the person behind the business rather than the business.
I think there's a number of factors. The first one for many is that they don't believe in themselves. You've got this imposter syndrome. They don't feel that they feel that they're swimming amongst much bigger fish, and they don't believe that they can do that. Whereas they can. Anybody can create anything if they put their mind to it. Just like anybody can learn anything. Any skill can be learned. But that aside, I think one of the main reasons for people is they don't take the time to find out what it is that they don't know about how building a high income business works, what they need to do to achieve that. They don't take the time, and that's often because they don't know that there's more for them to learn. So if they have better belief in themselves and they take the time to find out how to implement what they need to do, they take the time to understand what it is that they don't know about running a business, then that can really make a huge difference. The other thing is that most people do not have an absolutely crystal clear vision of what they want their business to achieve for them. Not what they want to achieve for their business, but what their business needs to do for them. Because our businesses are, to my mind, purely a vehicle to give ourselves the lifestyle that we want. Yes, there may be altruistic aims to the business, but end of the day, it's about creating a lifestyle for ourselves. And if you don't have a clear vision of that, you don't know what the end goal is, so you can't actually reverse engineer the business into what you want. They're often unwilling to outsource, to delegate. They spend too much time doing stuff rather than spending the time monetizing their technical expertise. They don't wear all three hats. They're either too much time being the technician or too much time being the manager. But most business owners don't spend enough, if any, time wearing the entrepreneur hat, because they get bogged down in all the other stuff. So I think all of those things combined, they work together to create a situation where they are struggling to create what they wanted, what aimed to start their business for, that wealth and that work-life balance.
It's creating the belief of time. I think we've both been there. I've especially experienced this myself. When you're in those initial years of building your business, it is head down. All your time, effort, and energy is dedicated to building something that can potentially be financially successful, that can give you the life you desire, for you and your family. And during that point, something has to give. Something has to be sacrificed. It's not going to sacrifice. We're not going to sacrifice the time that we spent with our family. We can't sacrifice anything to do with our business. So all we have left is us. And we become the sacrificial lamb. We stop looking after. We stop looking after ourselves. We stop exercising. We stop taking time out of our days to do the things that we love to enjoy doing. There's no time for fun. We start eating on the go. And then it snowballs. So we start, we've got to rely on caffeine to get us up and keep us going. Got to have a drink in the evening to relax us, or some treat foods to try and go, oh, you've had a really, tough day, why don't relax? And of course, we then go to bed, we're stressed out, we're wired, we don't sleep well. It's this huge snowball effect starts happening, and then we get to that point where our head's now above water. It's normally 3 to 5 years now. Our head's now above water. We've created the foundation. We've got some success going on. And then our head comes above water and we go, God, I'm knackered. I'm burnt out. I've been burning the candle at both ends for so long. My get up and go has got nothing going without me. My head's now all over the place. I've been pulled from pillar to post. I'm always thinking about work. And when you've got so much going on in your head, it's that catch-22. I know I should do something because I'm now the business problem. I'm the issue here. I can't take my business to the next level if I'm not ready for it. But then the whole, I'm tired. I don't really have the time. How dare I prioritize myself over my family? The whole guilt. Guilt's a huge factor. I feel guilty if I even consider doing something to look after me. So it's sort of that just keeps you stuck. Or you play at it. A bit like people can play at business. People play at it. Well, I'll try and do this, and I'll try and do this, and I'll have a go at this, and have a go at this. It doesn't work. And it's not until you get to that point where you go, I've got to do something about me. I am the problem. And that realization, I always say to people, it's like, oh, I'm so selfless. I put everyone else first. It's like, no, you're really selfish. What a selfish person you are, which always turns some eyebrows. What? How am I selfish if I'm putting myself last? And it's like, just for a minute, play the game. If you're putting yourself last, which means you don't have a lot of get up and go, you're regularly tired, you may be in physical pain, backache and hip ache and knee ache, and your head's all over the place, you struggle to switch off work mode. Are you really giving the most important people in your world the best version of you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you turning up every day and giving everyone your A day? Or are they getting a second-rate version of you?
That's a really great way to look at it. I like that.
And hopefully at this point, the alarm bells start ringing true of, yeah, actually, when I am tired and grumpy and a bit short-tempered, they're not getting the best me. My kids aren't getting the best parent. My partner's not getting the best partner. My clients, my staff aren't getting the best leader. And when we start tipping the scales of actually, I do need to look after me. I do need to be turning up every day, physically, mentally, and emotionally at my best. Then we can start putting the right strategies in place. The strategies that are stupidly simple, but are highly time efficient. I know a lot of business coaches and business mentors talk about, return on investment. They talk about the financial return on investment. I talk about the return on your time investment. Getting the biggest return on your time investment possible.
Yeah.
Or as I've kind of nicknamed it, doing the minimal effective dose. Just doing the bare minimum to get the biggest result.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just shifting that belief from, the guilt, I can't be selfish, to suddenly I'm being selfish now by not looking after me.
I think a lot of it stems from empathy and from my experience of running my own businesses. I've been there, I've done it, I've come across most challenges. And at the end of the day, business is business is business. Business is pretty much the same. I often asked if I've got experience in this sector or that sector. Yeah, I have, because I have experience in business. And I can pretty much relate to any business. I like to get to know businesses and understand them. I'm fascinated by interesting businesses, different businesses. I'm always loving to have one-to-ones with people to hear about their business and understand them and their outlook and their mindset about their business and how they go about it. And that all comes from being willing to listen. To being willing to listen to people and understand them, and looking at their business from the outside, from a helicopter view, and having that overall view. And then what I do is I lift people up and help them to have that same helicopter view of their business, to look at it from the outside. Because so many people are stuck down in their business and they're working it and they can't see outside of the business. So that's what I do, is I help them and encourage them to look at their business from that overall helicopter view and just see things as they really are. Because when you start looking at it like that, that's when you start to notice the things that can be changed, the things that are maybe not quite right. That just a few little, and for most people, it's not about massive changes. Just like you were saying, it's about little tweaks, just 1 or 2 degrees to the left or right, that can make a huge difference. Because if you make a small change now in the right direction, down the line, months, years from now, it can be a big difference. Similarly, if they don't make a small change and they're 1 or 2 degrees off in the wrong direction, down the line, months, years down the line, it can make a massive negative difference to their business. That's what it is. It's about listening to people and helping them look at their business from the outside.
I've spent a long time honing my craft. I'm 16 years into business, and I've always been willing to learn and put the effort in, and really really focused on cutting through the noise, the rubbish, testing and just finding the stuff that is really, really straightforward and time efficient. There's so much noise, there's so much information, there's so much misinformation out there that so many people get overwhelmed with all of this. What do I do? What do I do? So for me, it's about being able to break it down into stupidly simple steps, that are easy to take. So many people try and take giant leaps and get so overwhelmed or scared or frightened or fearful that they stop. For me, it's just breaking it down into these really, really simple steps. Take this little step. Let's master this. Take this little step. Let's master this. This step isn't quite working for you. Great. Let's change it. Let's tweak it. Let's find how it works for you. For me, it's about creating someone's lifestyle, creating the high performance habits that work for them.
Yeah.
And I think a big thing as well is storytelling. I've been practicing my skills of storytelling for a long time because we learn best from stories.
Yeah.
Whether they're personal experience stories or stories of other clients or other people you've worked with, because they're relatable. Too many I've come across too many coaches, whether they're business coaches or they're performance coaches or health coaches, whatever. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and it's very it just
formulaic.
Yeah, it just doesn't. What people don't warm to it, don't understand it. Where when you start using stories and you team that up with really, really simple steps, people do the work. My job is to say to people, I'm not working with you. You're not really my client. Your brain is my client. Because when I work with your brain, when you have access to where your mind lives, and I love telling people that they don't have a mindset issue. That's great. It's always, again, sort of going, what? I don't have a mindset problem. No, you don't have a motivational problem. You don't have a willpower problem. You don't have a self-sabotage problem. You have a brain set problem. You actually don't have access to where your mind lives. Because most people have amazing mindsets, especially if you're in business. Something I know about you, if you've set up a business and you're still going after 3 to 5 years, you've got an amazing mindset. It's phenomenal. The problem that you've created now is because you've not been looking after it, you have less access to it. So my job is to really deal with your brain to a point where you have more and more access to your mindset, because then doing the work, taking action, which is ultimately what it's all about, mastering a new skill, you do the work, you get the result. So I think for me, it's being able to simplify the process, to make every step so stupidly simple. Why wouldn't you take it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what gets results, and it's all about results.
Yeah,
ultimately.
And if you're keeping it simple and it's simple for them, they're far more likely to keep following it.
Yeah,
you overcomplicate it, because confused people do nothing.
Exactly, that's it. Well, they're just overwhelmed.
Yeah,
overwhelmed, and it's like, how am I going to fit this in? I don't have enough time as it is. How am I going to fit this in and this and this? So yeah, it's, if I can simplify the living daylights out of what you've got to do, you'll do it.
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever truly retire. Like you're saying, I love what I do. I love helping others to achieve what they can and what they should achieve. And knowing that I've just had a small part of that success, I can't do it for them. I can do it with them. I can help them on that journey. I can guide them, keep them on track. But knowing that I've had a small part in that success, it's like you said, it's what gives me the kicks. Knowing that I've been part of that. I've already built a business that allows me not to work afternoons if I don't want to. It's just what I've built, and the way that I've designed my life by using my business. Ultimately, I guess I plan to work 2 or 3 days of the week, 2 or 3 weeks of the month, take some months off. I only want to work with people that I like and like me, and I am pretty much in that position already. I plan to travel more. Like you, I don't want to be on my deathbed wishing that I'd gone to Machu Picchu, wishing that I'd explored the ice cliffs of Alaska. There's so many fantastic things to see in this world. And I want to spend more time with my grandsons. Currently living in Dubai, so that's more traveling, fantastic. Yep. And spend more time with all my family. I think that's something that this last year or so has taught many of us, is that family is so important. So yeah, that's how I see my life. And creating the business that allows that. And obviously, in order to create that business, I have to provide value to people and help them on their journey in their business. So what I'm aiming to do is help people achieve what I want to achieve that life-work balance with the emphasis on life that I am aiming to achieve for myself, help them do it. As Zig Ziglar once said, you help enough people get what you want, you can have whatever you want.
My journey has been fascinating. I've had several years. I think I moved from being a personal trainer to a coach several years ago. And when you learn how to be a coach, especially the courses that I started doing, when you realize I can help anyone achieve anything faster. Because when you get someone in the right headspace, you just do the work. But the problem you have with that is that you just rock up to maybe a networking event or where your people are and go, hey, I'm a success coach. I can help you achieve your results much quicker and simpler. So I shot myself in the foot for several years where I was really trying to go, who is my thing for? Who can I really help? Because I love helping people. And I think most coaches and consultants are very passionate about helping people improve their life somewhere.
100%.
So yeah, it was several interesting years where I was very, very lost and confused about what it was. And it's only been the past, I suppose, 3 years now where I've really been honing it and bringing it in. And these are my people. So I've got some great business plans. I want to have a big impact on the world. I want to leave a dent, and that comes from my own experience of, wanting to provide the most amazing lifestyle for my family, which I did financially, but I was missing out. And I don't want to be on my deathbed and look back and go, life sucked. We had the money, I've got the car, the house, the watches, I've got all that and had that, and they were great, but life sucked. I don't want that for me, and I don't want that for anyone else, especially for those people who are so passionate about helping others. That's why I love working with coaches and consultants, because they're all passionate people, whether they are business coaches, whether they are design marketing companies. They put the hours in, they put the effort into to do the best they can for their clients. Well, why should they sacrifice themselves and miss out because of that passion? So for me, I love who I work with. They're great. And people always say, wow, look at the results you get for people. So I work with amazing clients.
Yeah.
I can only get amazing results if I work with amazing people.
Yeah.
So for me, it's now really the next 3 years for me is scaling the business. It is taking from what I've created, this foundational work and my 3F framework, which is the program that my clients go through. But it's now taking that and amplifying it, getting it out to more people, having more conversations, doing some, when we can get back into doing events, doing more group-based programs. So having a greater impact on more people's lives. Yeah. Because that gives me kicks. Forget about the money side of it, but I get my kicks when a client says to me, Ashley, look at what we've created. We've launched a new business. I've saved my marriage. We're now, we've created this income. Yeah. I'm now working. I love when a client says, Ashley, I'm now working 10, 15, 20 hours a week less than what I was. Yeah, and so that's it for me. So I look at people like Robin Sharma, Brendan Bouchard, people like that. They're my inspiration. They are where I want to be. Yeah. So I'm now doing the work in the right way to get there. Yeah. And if I don't get to where the level they're at, that's fine, because I know I'll be having a big impact wherever I decide this is it for me. Yeah. So that for me again,
strong vision, very strong vision. I like it.
And that gives me, for me, I know my numbers, I know the hours I want to work, I know how many people I can work with at one time and inspire them at whatever sort of way they're working with me. Yeah. So I've got all the really cold, boring, hard facts that will allow me to then not only have the money that I want, but to actually have the time to enjoy it, as well as the physical and the mental and the emotional ability to enjoy it. Because to me, they're the key 3 things. They're what most people need. Yeah. Most people create the money, but they don't have the time, they don't have the physical, mental, emotional ability to enjoy it. They just have the why. So that's me. So
that
now,
aligns very much with, you know, my tagline is I help business owners become wealthy faster, but it's not just about, you know, money in the pocket. It's not just about wealth in finance. It's wealth of time, wealth in relationships, wealth of mindset, and wealth of health as well. Because there's no point in having all the money in the world, but having to work all hours to get it. And so you don't see your family, so your relationships suffer, and you're stressed, so your health suffers. You know, it's got to be that overall thing. I think the first one's got to be know yourself. Know why you're doing what you're doing, what the end goal is, that vision that you have for yourself and your family and your life. And then you just simply reverse engineer that into a plan of action for your business. But if you don't have that vision, you can't really put a plan in place, because you're just doing without an end goal in mind. So that crystal clear vision, that's got to be the number one. Second one, once you've got that plan in place, once you reverse engineer that plan, get somebody to keep you on track, on course to carry out the plan. An accountability partner, a business mentor, a mastermind peer group, whoever it is, whatever it is, something or someone to ensure that you're consistently working in the right direction, so you don't start taking those 1 or 2 degree off to the left or right. Just keeping you on track, keeping you on the straight and narrow, as it were. So that's number 2. I think the third one would be quite simply outsource, outsource, outsource. Delegate to others. All the tasks that you're not good at, that you don't enjoy doing, or that someone else can do better, faster, cheaper, you get rid of them. Let it go, and that's the only way you can truly scale, because then that will give you the time to focus on your expertise, to spend some time wearing the entrepreneur hat, to make sure you're wearing all the hats in your business, and then you can get that life-work balance that you started your business for. So those are my 3 top tips.
perfect. Again, things that can be done relatively simply straight away.
Absolutely. And the outsource one is quite difficult for some people. Letting go of things within their business is their baby, and letting go and delegating and maybe even taking on staff for the first time, it can be very, very tough. And that's something I help people through a lot. But it's recognizing that the time that you can save through outsourcing and delegating in terms of return can be absolutely massive.
So 3 top tips. First of all, we need to set this up. So grab your phone and set a timer to go off every single hour. All
Okay.
right. Every hour, on the hour, bleep, bleep, or you can, if you want to have something on your computer that comes up, set a timer every single hour. Okay. And for 2 to 4 minutes every hour, we're going to do 3 things. First of all, you've just done it. Have a big glass of water.
Cheers.
Most people don't drink enough water. The benefits of hydration are huge. All right. I've got training videos just on that. Drink or have a big glass of water. All right, that's the first thing. Most people want to be aiming for between 2.5 and 3.5 litres of water a day, just to give you an idea. So that's the first thing. Next, get up, move away from your desk and walk around. If you can go outside and get some fresh air for a couple of minutes, go outside. But if not, just walk around your house or your office for a couple of minutes. All right, so that's the second thing. Go out, just have a wander around, get some extra steps and stretch your back. The final thing, you can do this while you're out walking. All right, while you're out walking, focus on what we call box breathing. All right, this is very controlled breathing to flood the body with oxygen. All right, our body is constantly burning oxygen. Most people don't breathe very well and therefore aren't giving the body the fuel that it needs. So box breathing, this is all going to happen through the nose. So you're going to inhale through the nose and count to 4. So the whole inhalation is going to take 4 seconds. Hold the breath for 4 seconds. Exhale through the nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. So when you're going for your walk, just focus on this breathing. And just pay attention when you're breathing, when you're inhaling. You don't want the chest to rise and fall. You want the belly to rise. I know my hands disappeared there, but you want the belly to rise and fall. All right. So it feels belly breathing. So the chest isn't going out, the diaphragm is going down, and you're pushing the belly out. So do this 2 to 4 minutes every hour. You're like, oh, I'm so busy right now. I promise you that those 2 to 4 minutes invested every hour will double and triple your productivity throughout the day.
Yeah.
You'll gain a couple of hours every day.
That's fantastic. And it's about consistency. And I guess that you start off setting the reminder, but then it becomes a habit and you just do it.
Habits take, always remember, habits take, the University College of London have done their research, and they say that a new habit takes on average 66 days to create.
Yeah.
So look, the next 66 days, 2 to 4 minutes every hour. Do those 3 things, and the impact this will have. You spoke about shifting 1, 2, 3 degrees. In 66 days, you will not recognize yourself physically, mentally, or emotionally.
Yeah. And those habits just become part of who you are.
The norm.
Part of you, yeah. And it's that old conscious competence thing. You're just doing it. It's part of what you do.